What really makes a professional career, truly impactful? Is it just the resume, the targets hit, or is there something else, something less visible guiding us? Today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, the world of professional values, specifically through the lens of the hospitality industry. We're using professional values in hospitality, guiding principles for success as our guide here. We've really dug into the source to pull out the key takeaways.
Yeah, our goal here is to really unpack how these core values, things like sincerity, dedication, ethics, aren't just nice words. They genuinely shape day-to-day work, influence a hotel's reputation, and fundamentally, they're what ensure quality service and, crucially, guest trust.
It's interesting, isn't it? We often label these as soft skills, but you're saying they're actually the foundation, the bedrock for real success.
Yeah.
How do they become so indispensable, especially in hospitality?
Well, that's exactly it. They are indispensable. Think about it. Hospitality runs on human interaction. So it's not just about following a manual. It's that ingrained sincerity, that dedication, the ethical compass. Without those, the whole experience can just fall apart for the guest. They provide that consistency, that reliability that everyone relies on.
Okay, let's start right there. Professional values. What exactly are we defining here?
Fundamentally, they're the guiding principles for how we act, how we perform our jobs. And in this source, the focus is really on sincerity, dedication, and ethics as the core. In hospitality, their role is huge. They uphold service quality. They foster teamwork, real teamwork. They build that essential guest trust. And yeah, they boost the whole institution's reputation. They're not negotiable, really.
Got it. So let's break down some of these key values highlighted in the source. First one, knowledge thirst. Now, this isn't just learn stuff, is it? The source suggests it's deeper. A real driving curiosity, a willingness to constantly learn new skills, almost to anticipate what's next.
Absolutely. And in hospitality, this isn't just, personal growth. It's strategic. Think of a chef who's constantly exploring global cuisines or front desk staff learning basic phrases in other languages.
Oh, right, to connect better with guests.
Exactly. Not just serve them, but genuinely welcome them. The source gives this great example of a server learning a few basic French phrases. It seems small, but it shows that foresight, that drive to improve the guest experience proactively. It turns learning into a real advantage.
Okay, so knowledge thirst keeps you growing. But how do we make sure that growth is, ethical? Which brings us neatly to sincerity and profession. This sounds like more than just doing your job. It's about how you do it with real honesty, genuine dedication.
That's the heart of it, yes. It's about integrity in action. In hospitality, that means, say, following hygiene rules perfectly, even when your supervisor isn't around.
Right. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing.
Precisely. Or ensuring a room is truly spotless, not just superficially clean. It's about taking genuine pride and responsibility. Maybe reflect on this yourself like this, Ine. Think about a time you completed a task with that deep level of sincerity. Didn't it feel different? Didn't the result speak for itself?
That's a great point. And building on that sincerity, the source talks about professional ethics. We kind of get fairness, integrity in general. But how does this work specifically in hospitality, where things can be quite personal, quite discreet sometimes?
That's a really important distinction. Hospitality ethics often involve navigating tricky situations, like ensuring guest privacy is never breached. Even if, friends are asking about a VIP guest staying at the hotel, you just don't share those details.
That takes discipline.
It does. Or ensuring fairness, not favoring certain customers, applying rules consistently. It's about maintaining that clear moral compass, even when it's subtle. The source actually poses a really good question for you to think about. Is accepting gifts from vendors ethical? It forces you to consider transparency, potential conflicts, those gray areas.
Interesting. Okay, let's shift slightly. Regularity and punctuality. Sounds basic, almost too simple. But the source argues it's critical. Being consistent, being on time.
It sounds basic, but its impact is massive. Think about the ripple effect. In hospitality, punctuality means smooth check-ins, room service arriving when promised, events running like clockwork.
Yeah, you notice when it doesn't happen.
Absolutely. The source uses the example of just showing up 10 minutes early for your shift. Seems minor. But it does three key things. Builds trust, guests count on timeliness. Improves coordination, I think kitchen and front desk needing to be perfectly in sync. And it reduces errors, no last-minute rushing around.
Makes sense. Okay, the last value to unpack here is faith, which the source connects to trust and loyalty. This isn't religious faith, but belief in the system, your colleagues, the the purpose.
Spot on. It's that underlying trust that holds teams together, especially under pressure. Think about a busy dinner service staff have to trust each other implicitly to manage the flow, right?
Yeah, anticipating each other's moves.
Exactly. Or the sources example. A receptionist needs to have faith that housekeeping will have the rooms ready on time for check-in. That trust enables smooth operations. It's intangible but foundational. We actually suggest you try this. Map out your own trust pyramid at work. Who do you rely on? Your team. Processes, mentors, and why do you trust them? What makes it solid?
That's a useful exercise. So we've defined these values. Now let's see them in the wild. How do they actually play out in real hospitality scenarios?
Right, because theory is one thing, practice is another. The source gives some great concrete examples. Imagine a chef facing pressure, maybe to cut costs, but they refuse to use ingredients that are near expiry.
Okay, yeah.
That immediately shows professional ethics, but also sincerity, a genuine commitment to quality and guest safety over just, saving a few bucks.
Right. And what about when things inevitably go slightly wrong, like the room service delay example due to traffic?
Ah, yes. That's a perfect illustration. It definitely highlights the ideal of punctuality, but maybe more importantly,
Communication.
exactly, and trust. A team with strong faith trusts colleagues will communicate that delay proactively and honestly to the guest. It becomes about managing the situation ethically, not just about the clock.
Okay.
Or think about a manager designing the weekly roster. If they consciously build in proper breaks for everyone, that shows regularity, sure, but also a deeper care, fostering trust.
That makes a difference to morale, definitely.
Huge difference. And when staff volunteer to stay late during a huge, unexpected event rush, that's dedication, obviously, but maybe also knowledge thirst as they're learning to adapt under fire.
And when a whole team tackles a guest complaint together?
That's trust and professional ethics in action, solving the problem collaboratively, putting the guest first.
Okay, this paints a clear picture, but how does someone actually become that trusted professional? It feels like a journey. Our source actually includes a flowchart of professional growth. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, it's a really neat way to visualize it. It starts naturally with professional aspirations, that desire to do well, to succeed in the field.
Yeah. Starting point.
Right. Then it branches out.
Mm-hmm.
You need both knowledge thirst, constantly learning, and professional ethics as your foundation. From there, it flows into consistent effort and punctuality. You apply what you know reliably.
Okay, makes sense.
Then comes sincerity and performance, doing it with integrity, which builds towards faith and team spirit. You trust others and become trustworthy yourself. And the culmination of all these interconnected steps, becoming that trusted hospitality professional, it shows how they all build on each other.
It's not just one thing, it's the whole package. So these values aren't just things you either have or don't. You can actually work on them, right? The source gives some practical tools for that kind of growth.
Does, yeah. And they're quite actionable.
Yeah.
For example, a punctuality tracker. Just log your arrival times for a week. Seriously. Then look at it honestly. It's simple self-analysis, but powerful.
What else?
There's guest experience role play. Setting up mock scenarios, maybe a difficult check-in, a complaint, and practicing how to handle them with ethics, sincerity, building trust even in simulation.
Practice makes perfect, or at least better.
Definitely. Another one is a mini lecture swap. Teach a colleague a small 5-minute skill you have. It forces you to articulate your knowledge, boosting that knowledge thirst. And what I really like is the trust bridge. One person is blindfolded, another guides them across a simple route. It's a physical way to experience reliance, faith, coordination.
I love these practical ideas. And the source also mentions a value rubric for self-evaluation, like rating yourself weekly.
Yes. On each core value, maybe 1 to 5. And crucially, you don't just give a number. You write down a specific example from your week that justifies the rating.
So it forces reflection.
Exactly. So for knowledge thirst, you might jot down, learn the new wine pairing recommendations. For sincerity, took extra time to help a lost guest find their way.
For ethics.
Maybe reported a minor equipment fault honestly, even though it caused a slight delay. For punctuality, was ready at my station 5 minutes before every shift start.
And for faith.
Perhaps relied on my colleague to handle guest checkouts during the morning rush. And they nailed it. It makes you accountable week by week. The source also throws out a great debate topic for you to chew on. Is punctuality more important than flexibility in hospitality? There are nuances there, right? When does one need to give way to the other?
That's a tough one. Lots to think about there.
So, wrapping this up, the core message from our deep dive is clear. these professional values. They're absolutely essential. They're the engine for reliable service, the glue for team harmony, and the foundation for guest trust. It's really striking how every role, truly every role in hospitality, depends on ethics and sincerity. And that regular self-check, that self-evaluation, it's vital for awareness and for taking ownership of your professional journey.
It really drives home that hospitality excellence isn't just about technical skills learned from a book. These values, sincerity, ethics, trust, dedication, that thirst for knowledge, they really form the professional soul, if you will, both for individuals and for the whole organization. So here's a final thought for you to take away. How might deliberately focusing on these guiding principles, whether you're in hospitality or any other field, truly transform your career gigs or boost the success and maybe even the spirit of your team?